CTV Scott Hurst joins us now with more. So, Scott, just as the U.S. president seems to be backing away from his tariffs on China, he's focusing on Canada once again. What's prompted this?
Marcia, we haven't seen him be this direct about Canada and the ongoing trade war in a little bit. As you mentioned, this has been front and center, and particularly his comments and the trade war with Canada front and center at the start of the campaign. He had that flashy announcement on the White House lawn earlier in the campaign about the reciprocal tariffs on a whole host of trading partners around the world, but has dialed down that rhetoric as of late a little bit until these comments yesterday, speaking from the Oval Office while signing other executive orders. You heard the comments from him talking about how he doesn't need cars from Canada, doesn't want cars from Canada, also saying Canada would cease to exist as a country if the U.S. stopped buying its goods. Trump saying again, that is ultimately what he wants to do, is have manufacturing jobs, have these jobs back in the U.S. But of course, in pure dollar figures, this is a trading relationship worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and our auto sector specifically incredibly heavily integrated. And as you pointed out, Trump has already imposed 25% tariffs on all automobiles, excluding what's covered on the CUSMA agreement, the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement that he did sign in his first term. Now, despite making these comments about increasing auto tariffs, Trump did clarify he's not currently considering additional auto levies right now, but of course in these comments not ruling it out either, Marcia.
So as the election campaign winds down, it ends as it started, with the focus now on the threats from President Trump, Scott.
Yeah, you really could call this a late-inning curveball, as we are just days away from when Canadians will get their say in this election. And we've seen the Carney Liberals more or less build their whole election campaign on the backs of pushing back against Donald Trump and pushing back against the threats that he's making against our country, not just the 51st state comments, but really the trade war that he has sparked against Canada. Of course, there are the auto levies, there are levies on steel and aluminum, and other tariffs that he's imposed as well. And we've heard this from other parties as well, Marcia, that, of course, they have all pushed back against the threats from Donald Trump. The Conservatives are more dialed in, however, to the word change and avoiding what they're saying, a fourth Liberal mandate. And polling has showing that this is ultimately now a two-party race. And so as we are coming into the final weekend of this election campaign, these comments from Donald Trump really ringing coast to coast for Canadians who have been showing that they're incredibly worried about what could become of this trade war with the United States.
All right, Scott, thanks for that.